Hello, I'm Cologne and Bonn. It's now Easter Saturday, and this is sort of an in-between day. It's a day you normally don't hear much about. And growing up in Sweden, this was actually a day where you used to shoot firecrackers and have bonfires. I don't know what that had to do with Easter, but that was what we did. This day is a little bit like when you're waiting for a package to arrive, when you've ordered something online. You have already purchased it, you have paid for it, so it's already yours in a sense. But you don't know, maybe it will get lost in the mail, or the one you bought it from is not trustworthy and it will not send it. Only when you have the item in your hand, you can be certain that you will receive it. And we see this on Friday, right before Jesus died on the cross. He proclaimed, "It is finished." The price for sin was now paid in full. But the proof of this came on Sunday, when the resurrected Jesus appeared, first to Mary Magdalene and then to his disciples. But on Saturday, the followers of Jesus probably didn't really know what to believe and what to do. His disciples, they have been following him for 3 years or so. And only a few days earlier, they had seen him ride into Jerusalem on a donkey on Palm Sunday and being hailed as a king. But now he was dead. They had seen him raise Lazarus from the dead after 4 days. But now when he himself was dead, who was there to raise him? I would like us to look on a passage from the Old Testament, from Exodus chapter 14, verse 5 to 14. And this is sometime after the first Passover, the first Passover meal that Johnny read for us about on Tuesday. And this is also after Pharaoh had already let the people of Israel leave Egypt. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, the mind of Pharaoh and his servants was changed toward the people. And they said, "What is this that we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" So he made ready his chariot and took his army with him, and took 600 chosen chariots and all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the people of Israel, while the people of Israel were going out defiantly. The Egyptians pursued them, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them and camped at the sea, by Pi Hahiroth, in front of Baal Zephon. Then Pharaoh drew near. The people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they feared greatly. And the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, Is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? What have you done to us in bringing us out of Egypt? Is not this what we said to you in Egypt? Leave us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians. For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. So Pharaoh here had already let the people of Israel go, and as they left, they even plundered the Egyptians. God has also already instructed them about how they were to celebrate and remember the Exodus for the generations to come. But now it seemed like there would be no generations to come. With the triumphant exit from slavery in Egypt would end with death in the wilderness. Just as it seemed to the disciple that Jesus' visit to Jerusalem that began with the triumphant entry on Palm Sunday would just end with the death on the cross. We know the end of both these stories. And if you don't, you can find them in the rest of Exodus chapter 14 and in John chapter 20. But in those moments, Israel standing with Pharaoh's army on one side and the sea on the other, and the disciples grieving the loss of their master, for them things look very dark. We can see some of how the disciples reacted when we read John chapter 20 and verse 19. On the evening of that day, the first day of the week, the doors being locked, where the disciples were for fear of the Jews. And a few verses earlier, in John 20:13, we have Mary Magdalene's reaction when the angel are asking her why she is weeping. They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him. Maybe the disciples didn't remember that Jesus had predicted that he would die and rise again. Or maybe they didn't understand it. Since we are in John's Gospel, let's go to John chapter 10 and verse 17 to 18. This is part of the section where Jesus is talking about himself as the good shepherd who lays down his life for his sheep. So John 10, 17 to 18. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I have received from my Father. And also, we see in the other Gospels that Jesus had been talking about his own death and resurrection with his disciples. Finally, I would like to make a parallel to the time we are living in right now. And I'm not referring to the corona crisis or anything like this. But there is a sense that we are still living in an Easter Saturday, waiting for the fulfillment to come, for the package to arrive. The price for our sin has already been paid. There is nothing for us to add to Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. We have even received a receipt for the payment. In the human testimonies of Jesus' resurrection and the testimony of the Holy Spirit. But we do not yet see the fullness of what he has purchased for us. We are still living here on earth, but we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth. That's what is described for us in Revelation 21, verse 1 to 4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, a new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. And God himself will be with them as their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be in the morning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away. So in this in-between time, between the payment, the sacrifice of Good Friday, and the resurrection of Easter Sunday, we can both look back to Friday and to the high price that was paid for our sin. And give thanks to God that he loved us even when we were still his enemies. And let us also look forward to experiencing the fullness of what he has purchased for us in eternity to come, and to celebrating his resurrection tomorrow.